what's your take on the strikes across Russia with Ukraine? Because we know from history, attacking supply lines can be very effective, and it seems to be having that structural impact in Russia behind the front lines. Do you think this is a game changer in the next 6 months over the winter?
Well, I think if Ukraine is able to destroy Russia's ability to export oil uh, and continue doing what they're doing, that will change the game. Uh, Attacking supply lines, to the front, that's important. But this phrase "game changer" I think gets overused. But you can achieve decisive effect if you can keep knocking out their ability to produce and export oil for sale to China and Turkey and India and other places. That would be a game changer.
So what should Ukraine be aiming to be doing then, if it does get its hands on these Tomahawks, for example? What should it be doing more effectively with this greater set of equipment?
Well, of course, they've already achieved a significant reduction in Russia's ability with what they have. I mean, using drones and missiles that they have created themselves. Obviously, if they were to get Tomahawk or some other Western provided long range systems, that would enhance what they're doing. So I think they're doing everything they possibly can. The West is who is faltering here. We should be not only providing Tomahawk, but also investing in Ukraine's ability to achieve greater scale of their own production. And of course, the other part of destroying Russia's oil export includes stopping the shadow fleet, these ships that are sailing out of the Baltic Sea 3 or 4 times a day, carrying this oil for export to China, Russia, and India. So the West could be playing a much stronger role here.
And when it comes to unity, we've obviously had a fair amount of air incursions, to use a broad term, when it comes to Poland, the Baltics. And whilst Article 4 has been activated, or the consultations have been held, there's still inconsistency from people I speak to and what we see going on across Europe. How confident are you that Europe can be more united consistently, depending upon what Trump's going to, well, his mood is feeling that day?
Well, first of all, yes, of course, Europe can be doing more, and it should not depend on what President Trump says. I mean, whether or not the U.S. fails to do its duty, and right now it feels like we're not, Europe is still going to have to. And when I say Europe, that includes obviously Norway, UK, and also Canada to some extent. But in this particular context, including UK, if you don't get serious about stopping these operations, and I don't call them incursions. Incursions sounds kind of harmless and almost accidental. These are operations that are planned. When you've got so many drones going to one place, or shutting down airports all over Europe, or doing reconnaissance over bases, these are operations. So we've got to change the language, and our European allies need to understand that Russia is already at war with us. And until we start acting and thinking like that, we're never going to have the sense of urgency to do what needs to be done, whether we're talking about operations of drones, Russian Air Force flying around in Estonian airspace, or the illegal activity on the Baltic Sea. These are all operations designed to destabilize us, as well as to map out where we are and how we respond. So if we don't inflict consequences on the Russians, this is going to continue.
Well, that was my next question, which is obviously in the first couple of months of the war, there was a big emphasis on a no-fly zone, and it seems to be that that's returning to some people. But there's been criticism that sort of the Baltics, Poland, have been essentially imposing a fly zone on part of their own airspace instead of over Western Ukraine or the whole of Ukraine. So is it time for that to be done?
Well, we need to decide, first of all, what's our desired end state. I mean, no-fly zone is a phrase without meaning until you put real capability up there. And if you're going to put real capability up there, you need to think about what is it that we're trying to achieve. Of course, I would 100% be in favor of having NATO air forces and ground-based systems and maritime systems helping to stop Russian drones and missiles from killing innocent Ukrainians. I mean, we did this for Israel, and we did this in the Red Sea. Why are we not doing it to help Ukraine? I don't understand that. But a no-fly zone or a sky shield, this is not something like Star Trek, where a big shield magically appears and protects everybody. It will require an integrated network of sensors, headquarters, shooters, air, land, and sea-based platforms working together. And then somebody's got to say, hit that target, let that one go. And of course, there's not enough to protect everybody. So there's some prioritization that will have to take place. I think the priority should be to our transportation infrastructure and power grid, all the things that are needed for rapid reinforcement if Russia ever did attack a NATO country. But when you think about putting pilots up, you're never going to put a pilot up. We should never put a pilot up unless we are also prepared to conduct what we call SEAD, SEAD, suppression of enemy air defense, which means always shooting air defense on the ground before it shoots down our aircraft. And that might be a Russian air defense system inside Russia or inside Russian-controlled Ukraine. We better be prepared to do that, or else it'd be foolish to send up any pilots. And also, you have to assume that eventually somebody's going to be shot down. You have to be prepared to go in and pick them up, even if they parachuted into Russia. So I don't think people that toss around the phrase "sky shield" or something like that have thought through the implications. I'm for it, but we need to have our eyes open and understand the commitment.